Sports fan, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably a bigger sports fan than I am.
I love watching football and basketball probably the most as a spectator.
Yeah, I like probably basketball the most as a spectator.
Well, that would make you a true Hoosier then, right?
That's right. In
So-
49 other states, it's just a game, but in Indiana, it's basketball.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Nate McMillan has been the coach of the Indiana Pacers since 2016, and I don't know if you knew that. Would you like to meet him?
Yeah, he's worked his way up through the organization.
Through the ranks?
And he's so big now, he's on Boomer TV.
Boy, all the way from North Carolina to Indianapolis. What an incredible run. Talk to me a little bit about what it was like. I know when you started out, not a glamorized high school athlete. It sounds like you started tough. Can you tell us a little bit about how basketball started for you?
You've been doing some research, huh?
Of course. You always got to be prepared.
You know, I've always kind of played in the shadow of really talented players, and you know that was the same in high school. We had really talented guys on the floor, and I was a guy who kind of was, you know, behind the, you know, in the shadow of all this talent. You know, had the opportunity to go to JUCO and spend 2 years at a junior college by the name of Chowan. Spent 2 years there, and then all of a sudden, North Carolina State Wolfpack, the ACC come a calling after my freshman year in JUCO, and was able to sign with NC State, which was about 5 minutes from my home.
Wow.
And play for Coach Valvano. And you know, by the blessing of God and continuing to work hard, was drafted to the NBA in the second round to Seattle, where I spent 19 years in Seattle, both as a player and a coach. Went from Seattle to Portland for 7 years, and came to Indiana to work with Frank Vogel, and was eventually hired to be the head coach.
Fantastic. So if I can take you back a little bit, North Carolina State, obviously you became a national champion there. Jim Valvano, legendary coach. Tell me the best thing you learned from Jimmy, or the best thing you learned from your teammates going through that experience.
Well, I didn't win the championship there. I actually came in the year after the championship. They won it in '83.
Okay.
I came in '84. I got all the goodies from that championship team, winning with Lorenzo Charles and Spud Webb and Ernie Myers and, you know, Terry Gannon and all of those guys. And you know, it was just, you know, NC State was like a, you know, I love NC State. As I mentioned, I lived 5 minutes from the campus. My mother worked at North Carolina State University. You was either a Tar Heel fan or a Wolfpack fan.
Right.
And I was a Wolfpack fan, you know, growing up watching David Thompson and Monty Towell and all those guys. And, you know, that's where I learned to love basketball. You know, the ACC was really big at that time. David Thompson and those guys used to come over to my community center and actually play, and I would watch them play on Saturday mornings, just wanting to get out there and play with those guys. But they played on the big boy court.
Right.
I had to go down to the small boys court and play down there. But that's where I learned to play and love the game. I have an older brother who I pretty much followed him everywhere he went. You know, he was the father figure for me and my family. He played all sports, so I played all sports. And Randy is 5 years older than me, but he was the guy who really got me into sports and playing the game the right way and playing it hard. And you know, to this day, he's still being a big brother, father figure, coaching and teaching.
And so obviously your mother had some work ethic in her.
Absolutely.
And when we look at what you did for the Supersonics, second team all defensive player, led the league in steals, that's about hard work.
Yes.
So when we talk about the attitude it took to be that person back then, how do you transfer that to these guys now? And what do you want a Nate McMillan Pacer team to look like?
Well, we play the game the right way, and we give 100% when we're out on the floor at all times, whether we're in practice or in games. And you want the fan base to respect the way that you play the game. You play the game the right way. You play the game together. You have to sacrifice. I've always said that it's always about, the name on the front of the jersey.
Sure.
Of course, a lot of times players play for the respect of the name on the back of the jersey, but I work for the Indiana Pacers, and I want to make sure that I give my all to this organization to make them better and improve them in all aspects, of the game on and off the floor.
I look at the attendance. I've been a fan of the Pacers since 1972. And I could tell there's a difference in a Nate McMillan coach team than there has been in the past, the commitment to effort and that type of thing. So as a fan, thank you for doing that.
We know that Indiana is a big basketball state, just as North Carolina is. And we've had some arguments who's the bigger basketball state. But we know how important it is to the fan base here that the Pacers are playing good basketball.
That's good. Well, Nate, I want to thank you for your hard work, for the effort you put forward to the Pacers. We know it's going to show all season long, and it's just a pleasure and honor to have you running our team.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I look forward to this season. We have a great opportunity. We know that there's a little buzz about us, and hopefully we can live up to that.
Right, no LeBron in the East.
Yeah, no LeBron in the East, and we actually had some success against him. Not enough,
you did.
But it's good to see that guy out
Go
west.
away. Yeah, we'll see him in the finals.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
This is Glenn Bill for Boomer TV.